While the governor's office works out justice reinvestment funding for next year, getting through the current fiscal year is concerning the Department of Corrections and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Funding issues have led to major staffing problems as more highway patrolmen eye retirement and corrections officers struggle to work nearly around the clock. Funding, staff, and the problems they face were topics on this week's Oklahoma Forum. Democrats urged the legislature to put off further cuts for a while, saying that there are other priorities that should be funded, among those the Department of Safety and Corrections.
Correct. Their concern, as they've been saying the past couple of years, that state employees have gone several years without pay raise, and especially Department of Corrections. Correctional officers are, the last raise was back in 2006. The Highway Patrol troopers are having a hard time recruiting troopers because of the low pay. The Highway Patrol is now the 16th highest paid law enforcement agency in the state of Oklahoma. Woodward just leapfrogged them last month. So there's some concern of how do you attract new troopers, plus some troopers are getting close to retirement, thinking that there's not going to be a pay raise. They can go ahead and take their retirement and get another job, part-time job, take their pension and be better off. It's really crucial for the Corrections Department, they say, because it's hard, especially in the prisons, out in the rural parts of the state, to attract and keep their correctional officers, because the energy field, we're seeing a lot of jobs, people working in the oil and gas fields, and they pay a lot more than the correctional officers. They say that for the most part they can work at fast food places and at the same kind of salary. And correction, because the prisons, the corrections are about 60%, 62% staffed, which means they're understaffed by 30%, that many of these correctional officers are working double shifts. So they're working at least 8 hours. That's a good day for them. Sometimes they have to work double shifts, like 16 hours. Some have gone to 12-hour shifts. Part of the problem is if you work 8 hours and your relief doesn't come in, you can't leave. You're there for another shift. And so it's getting kind of, Democrats brought a couple of correctional officers in last week at the Capitol and said, hey, it was great for the overtime pay, but we're not spending any time at all with our families. Because by the time you work 16 hours, drive an hour or so back and forth to your home, you pretty much can sleep and eat, and that's pretty much it. So they're really saying, put some of that growth revenue, about $214 million they estimate in growth revenue for the 2014 fiscal year, $20 million for this, to give the troopers and the correctional officers salary increases instead of tax cuts.
You can catch the rest of Oklahoma Forum Sunday afternoon at 12:30.